Hi everyone, Vanessa here from Love Riley. Welcome back. Today we're going to be sewing this amazing bag. Now it may look a little bit familiar because it has a big sister, and the big sister's name is Erica. And this is the Mini E dual compartment crossbody bag by Rosa patterns. How flippin' cute is this? It is, oh my goodness, it is absolutely adorable. Now, the big Erica bowler bag, I mostly make it 85%, and I absolutely adore that pattern. And then this one is just amazing. So let's go over the bag. We've got the front pocket, and we've got a back pocket. This is our gusset. But look at this handle. Look at this top panel. It is amazing. It is so beautiful. So you've got, like, this bag is blinged out. Blinged out. We've got our strap ends, which I absolutely love. We've got the 2 D-rings up the top here for your crossbody strap. You've got your handle, and that's just Chicago riveted or Chicago screwed on. It's not sewn on. You've got this center zipper panel. Absolutely beautiful. And then you've got 2 compartments. So the first one, now this is finished with binding, but there's not a lot of binding. So it's only one side of each compartment that you need to bind. So don't stress, it's okay. So this here is one side, and there is a lot of room for it being a little bag. So the back wall here is completely finished. There's no binding on the back wall. It's only on the very front of the pocket. That's the side that gets bound. So you're only doing one lot each side. So that is great. So that's one side. And then this is the back side. So it's exactly the same as the front one. I haven't added a slip pocket. I haven't added a zipper pocket. You could quite easily, but just remember you've already got 2 zipper pockets. So the choice is yours. You could add a slip pocket again, but you've got 2 slip pockets on the front and the back. But just look at how adorable it is. It is absolutely gorgeous. There were some challenges that I had with this bag. That was just because I've never made a double compartment bag before. But the steps were so incredibly well written that I really didn't struggle. I reread a couple of them, but they were straightforward. The video that you're going to watch of me making this bag is the very first time I've made it. I hadn't made a test one. This is it. So any complications that I had at all, you'll know because I'll leave them in the video. I think the complications that I had were the fact of using a zipper foot. I'm not used to using a zipper foot. I think I've only ever changed to a zipper foot once or twice before. So I did switch between my zipper foot and my regular foot because I don't like to top stitch with a zipper foot. So I had to keep changing back and forth, but that was okay. During the video, there was one time that I accidentally sewed my top zipper panel into the lining and I had to go and unpick that all. But again, that was just because I wasn't used to using the zipper foot. I didn't know what I was feeling and I couldn't feel that it was there. I didn't do it the second time. I would say that this is an intermediate pattern just because of the steps. But if you're an advanced, no, maybe not intermediate, maybe an advanced beginner. I think as long as you can follow a pattern either written or by watching videos, I think you'll absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. I think the only thing that I'll change when I make it next time is just to use Decaville heavy on the gusset. That's just my preference. When it came time to doing the gusset, I did have to do a lot of clips in the gusset to be able to ease the panel into it. But I got there. If you're patient and you just clip and then clip and then clip and just work it in, you'll be absolutely fine. There were some puckers that I got on the lining, but I didn't stress about those because they're fine. You cannot even see them. The binding, I had absolutely no issues with at all. It went on perfectly. It was one of the neatest bindings I've ever done. I used fold over elastic for my binding and I had absolutely no problems. So I think you'll be fine. I think as long as you read the pattern and take it slow, I think like everything, the more you make, the better that you will become and the quicker you will become. It didn't take me too long, but then when I had to go and unpick things, and for some reason, and I don't know why, my zipper panels here, these ones, I did upside down. So when it came to turn it out, my lining was on top. Don't know what I was thinking. Clearly I wasn't thinking on that step, and I had to recut it. But I'm not mad that I did, because I really do like the solid purple at the front of the bag. The link to get the pattern for this is in the description below. So this is my version of the Mini E, and I think you're going to absolutely love it. So if you'd like to see how I made this, then keep watching. Have an amazing day. Bye. Okay, so let's start with our pattern pieces. This vinyl here I had custom printed through By the Bay Craft Supplies, and I'll leave their details in the description below. I have one external gusset. I have interfaced it with Decaville white out of the seam allowances as per the pattern. Now, I didn't have enough of this vinyl, so what I did was I actually just made a center seam on the bottom and joined two pieces together. This will be the gusset. It'll be fine, no one will know, but that's what I did there. So if you've got one continuous strip, you won't have this center seam, but I do because I joined the two together. So one gusset out of my external vinyl. These are my front pocket pieces. I have two external. I've not interfaced these with anything. This brown here is just from the marking pen that I used to trace my pattern out. I've got two linings. This is waterproof canvas, also that I had printed through By the Bay Craft Supplies. I've not interfaced that with anything. So two exterior pocket linings. I've got two zipper panels in my main vinyl. I've not interfaced these with anything, and I have two lining waterproof canvas, not interfaced. So two of each of those. I've got my center zipper panel, one in my exterior vinyl, and I've used Decaville light out of the seam allowances as per the pattern, so one of those. This is my handle. I've got one of these out of my exterior vinyl. I've not interfaced this with anything. I've marked my line down the center and added double-sided tape on each side of my center line. This vinyl here I got from Temu not long ago. I absolutely love it. This is my strap. I've marked a line down the center and added double-sided tape on each side of my center line. These are my main panels. Two of those, Decaville light out of the seam allowances. So two of those. And you have four of your main panel lining pieces. So again, waterproof canvas, not interfaced at all. Four of those. I've got two gusset lining pieces, waterproof canvas, not interfaced at all. Two of those. These here are my double wall zipper panels. Two out of my lining. I didn't have enough of this waterproof canvas to be able to do one continuous strip. So as I did on the gusset, I've added two pieces together and done a center seam, but that's those. This is a bound bag, so you are going to need binding. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do purple or black, so I've got both of those just in case. Number 5 zipper tape. I'm using this purple colour. I may change, but probably won't. So for my hardware, I have, this is all 3/4 inch hardware. I've got 2 D-rings. I've got 4 strap ends, and these are 20mm strap ends, so I've got 4 of those. I've got 2 swivel clasps. I've got a slide adjuster, 4 number 5 zipper pulls. I've got Chicago screws in a medium size, and I have my nameplate. So let's get on and start sewing this pattern. The first thing that we want to do is get everything that we need for pack 1, which is going to be your handle, your strap, and all of the hardware for your strap. So your 2 swivel clasps, your slide adjuster, end strap ends, and Chicago screws. So get all of that ready to go. The first thing that we're going to do is do our strap, and that is our beautiful crossbody strap done. I love gold and purple together. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, set that to the side. Moving on to our handle. Okay, so just like our crossbody strap, we're going to remove the double-sided tape. We're going to fold both ends in just to meet under that centre line. We're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from both sides. There's measurements given in the pattern of where we have to place marks for our rivets. And you want to do that on both sides. Hello. It's a gecko. Where are you? I don't know where it is. It's probably complaining about the rain. So once you've marked your placement for your rivets, you can go ahead and sit that to the side. Next we want pack number 2. Now I've never made this before. This is my first time. Make sure you heat seal the end of your zippers, otherwise it may fray. And it does say that if you prefer to work with longer zipper tape, you can cut it longer than what is written in the pattern. First you want your center zipper panel, and then you want your 2 zippers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to separate our zippers. What I'm going to do, I don't know if this is necessary, but I've never done this before. So when I separate my zippers, I know that this is my left hand side, so I'm going to separate that. So they're all separated. So what you want to do is on the left hand side one, you want to make sure that your zipper teeth are pointing out to the left. So I'm going to take the other piece and attach that to my little label. I've just got L for left. I know that that's the other half of my left hand one. And you want this one, your right side, you want the zipper teeth pointing out as well. So exactly like is shown there. So both your zipper teeth are pointing out. So I'm going to attach this label that says right with the right hand side. It shouldn't matter, but just in case it does, let's do that. Then we're going to attach these right sides together along the center panel. I'm going to start up here. So I've got right sides together and my teeth are pointing in. And I'm going to clip that together. So on the right side, I'm going to flip that over. So it's right sides together and both sets of my zipper teeth are facing in towards each other. And the raw edge of my zipper tape is against the raw edge or the outside edge of my center zipper panel. Okay, I've got to change to a zipper foot. Now it says do not baste this and do not use double-sided tape. So remember, do not use double-sided tape, do not baste it. We're just going to sew it with the seam allowance given in the pattern. Okay, that's one side done. And we're going to repeat for the other side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press the zipper teeth away from the zipper panel, which will give us this fold just here. So we're pushing that away, and that is putting our zipper tape all the way to the back. So go ahead and clip that. Now it is correct that there is no lining for this. We are only doing this on our exterior piece. There's no lining as of yet. You want to do that for both sides. I'm probably going to have to change back to my normal foot because I do not like top stitching with a zipper foot. We're going to stitch down both sides of this center panel, and we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch from this inside edge just here. It says do not top stitch at more than 1/8 of an inch, and we are not going to pivot and come across. We need to start a brand new line of stitching for the second side. So normally we could go across and then back up. Do not do that. You need to start a second line, and you do not want to top stitch at more than 1/8 of an inch. Again, do not pivot. You want to start a brand new line. So this time I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. And again, there is no lining. This is just on the center panel. There's measurements given in the pattern of where you need to mark and punch rivet holes. So I'm just going to mark those lines for right now, and you want to do that on both edges. Then I'm going to get my rivet spacing template that I got from Max, and I'm going to mark out these holes. That way I can guarantee they're in the center. And now I can punch these holes. I didn't think that had gone through, but it has. And now, if you've done this correctly, you should be missing your zipper tape, and you should just be getting in the center there. Just like that. Hello. I know it's still raining. We can get rid of these markings. So then that is what we have. Now you want your double wall zipper linings, and you want your center zipper panel. So these are my double wall zipper linings. Now it says follow closely because this step is different. So on your center panel, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this edge back here, and there's some markings that we need to make. So go ahead and mark these on both sides. I've marked that 3/8 line on each side. Okay, now on your double wall lining, I am going to mark 1 inch from the edge, the short edge. I'm going to use chalk to mark 1/8 of an inch. So what we're going to do is this gets folded down. So I've got the right side of my double wall zipper lining face up, and I'm going to fold this crease back, which is our zipper and our center zipper panel. So I'm going to fold this back, and this gets placed an inch in from the short edge and 1/8 of an inch up. And I'm going to clip that into place. So if it's easier for you to do it upside down, do it that way. And you're going to clip that all the way along. And then I'm going to change to my zipper foot, and we're going to sew this, but we're going to start and stop at that 3/8 inch mark that we made. So with the seam allowance on this, your lining should be at your full seam allowance. So your lining panel should be at your full seam allowance, and your zipper foot should be right on the edge of that fold that we folded over earlier. And you're going to stop sewing at that mark that we made on the other end. So then this is what it should look like now. So your lining should be right side up now, and right side up of your center zipper panel. And then from the wrong side, this is what it should look like. Then we're going to repeat the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is fold this back and mark that 3/8 of an inch mark. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch from this edge. And I'm going to mark the 1/8 inch here, so I know that that's where I sit that seam. I somehow feel like this is going to be the hardest part of the bag, but the instructions are very well written, so you should be okay. Again, I'm going to line that up, starting at that 1 inch mark, and 1/8 of an inch from that side, from my lining side. This storm doesn't want to go away. So this is, and I'm guessing that this folds up to create our lining. Okay, so again, I'm going to start at that 3/8 inch mark that I made. And we're going to stop at that other 3/8 inch mark. So then this is now it from the back, and then this is what we have from the front. Now we're going to fold these right sides together, our lining pieces, just like this. So this is what we should have, our two linings right sides together and our zipper panel in the middle. And we're going to sew these short edges at the seam allowance given in the pattern. We want to trim this down to 1/8 of an inch, and you're only trimming through that lining. Now we're turning this right sides out. Just like so. Now it's telling us to go ahead and find the center of these panels, and you want to find the center top and the center bottom. And you can use your ruler, but any way that you can find your centers. Okay, that should be all my centers found. Now you want to turn your center panel wrong side out again and sit it to the side. Then you want your zipper panel exteriors and linings and your other two pieces of your zipper tape. And we're going to place these right sides up of our lining with right sides up on my zipper tape, and we're going to base this on. We're going to base that on at 1/8 of an inch. So our zipper panel goes right sides together with our zipper in the middle. And we're going to sew that at the full seam allowance given in the pattern. And I'm just going to mark mine. So rather than change to a zipper foot for this, I'm just going to mark my seam allowance and sew that together. So right sides together. So before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for this. So right sides up on my zipper lining, right sides up on my zipper tape. Alright, I'm going to base this on 1/8 of an inch. So right sides together. We're sewing this on at the full seam allowance. I'm going to change to a zipper foot. I've done it so far throughout, so I may as well just do it. Bugs aren't happy. Geckos aren't happy. No one's happy it's raining apparently. Maybe ducks. Maybe the ducks are happy it's raining. I'm going to turn this right sides out, and I'm just going to clip that into place. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to turn this right sides out and clip this together as well. And we're going to top stitch. Then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to find the centers. So fold it together. And clip your centres. Okay, next one. You can sit these to the side, but this is now how they should look. So now you're going to get everything that's in pack 3, which is going to be your gusset, your 2 gusset linings and 2 of your main panel linings, and you need your zipper pulls, your D-rings, your strap ends and 4 rivets. You want to find the center top and bottom of your lining of your main panels. You want to take your center zipper panel that we did earlier and make sure that it's wrong sides out. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to match up the centers of your linings. Just like so. So I'm using this outside band. I'm not using the inside one. So this is what it's looking like from the right side. So go ahead and match all this up. So you want to make sure when you're doing this that the top of your curve of your center panel is at the top of your lining. Otherwise it's going to be upside down. So you can just clip these ones out of the way. That's easier. And we're going to have to make it, we're going to have to fit these together just like we do any other gusset. So I'm going to come along to my lining and I'm just going to do little snips, 1/8 of an inch along this whole gusset to be able to fit it in. Do not do any more than 1/8 of an inch and about 1/2 an inch apart. You can always come back in and add more if you need to, but you certainly don't want to go any higher than 1/8 of an inch, or you risk then having it going to your seam allowance. So I'm going to do that all the way around. So I've done that all the way around, and now we've got to fit these together. So just go ahead and start working these in to the seam. Remember, you can always come in if there's quite a bit left that you cannot work in the first time. You can always come in and make some more clips. Now that is quite a bit there, so I'm going to have to come back and clip some more, but I'm just going to come to this side first and start working this side in. Now how much you have to work this in is also going to be dependent on the materials that you've chosen. Make sure that your zipper panel is out of the way. Now, as you can see, there is still quite a bit that needs to be worked in to these seams. So I'm just going to make more snips and redo it until it all fits in snugly. Now what I'm going to do, now that I've just unclipped all that, is I want to go ahead and I'm going to draw my seam allowance on my main lining. Because this is different to what's in the pattern, I think that it's going to be easier for me to draw this so that I can sew it with my zipper foot. Okay, I'm back. I had to do a lot of snips to be able to get the gusset to fit in properly. Now it does say in the pattern to sew it with your gusset facing down on the table. So I'm going to start at the bottom here and I'm going to sew it with the seam allowance given in the pattern, which I have marked out. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom. And I'm just trying to make sure that this is as flat as I can get it. Make sure everything else is out of the way. You do not want to sew through anything that you shouldn't, including if you've left long zipper tails. Now I can feel here that I'm sewing right next to that zipper. Oh no, I've sewn through my lining. Like two stitches. Flip this right up out of the way. And then I'm just going to come back in and lock those stitches back in. Just want to make sure I'm not sewing through anything I shouldn't be. Okay. So when I turn it right sides out, it's just way too close to my zipper. Like way too close. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've unpicked that. So what had happened was my panel, lining panel, my zipper panel had gone up into my seam allowance and I'd sewed that into my seam. So you really need to make sure that this is pushed down as far out of the way as possible. And I'm going to come back in and sew it again. And I'm going to keep my fingers there so that it stays out of the way. I was so worried about the zipper tails getting caught that I did not even feel that I was sewing through that. And I think it's because I've got this zipper foot on and it's so close to that zipper, that's why. So I'm just keeping my hands there and pulling my zipper teeth down. Oh, that's much better. So then this is what the inside of that seam is, of the inside of that bag. Oh, this is going to be adorable. We're going to use pinking shears and we're going to cut the seam down. There we go. We get to repeat it on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and start snipping all of my gusset. Eighth of an inch. This time I'm doing them maybe not even a quarter of an inch apart because I had to really work the last side in. So I imagine that this side's going to be exactly the same. Now I'm going to make sure that that is pushed down. I wonder if I could just clip these together. I don't think it's going to help. Okay, matching up the tops, then we're going to start working that in. Did I even clip that? I didn't. Make sure that you clip it to the right piece, Vanessa. Oh, that would have been bad. Oh my goodness. So, I've got all that clipped and I'm going to have to do it just like this. I'm going to start up here. I've still got my 2 zippers in the middle clipped just to try and have them out of the way so I don't run into the same problems again. And I'm just going to squash all this up. I'm just going to start here on the bottom. It's just easier to start on a straight. I'm just trying to hold this as flat as I possibly can. Now here is where you're really going to have to make sure everything is out of your way. Push it all underneath. Just trying to flatten that out. But if I get a pucker then, oh well. Again, pushing everything underneath. I can feel he wants to try and be tricky. So I'm just trying to use my screwdriver to hold everything flat and make sure everything is pulled out of my way. Go. Okay, let me see how that went. That did feel better than the other side. Oh yes, everything is out of my way. Everything's out of my way. I did not catch any of those stitches, any of those seams. I'm happy with that. So now I can go ahead and trim the seam allowance down. I feel like that went better that time. So I'm going to go ahead and trim down the seam allowance. Okay, we can turn this right side out and we're going to attach our handle. Okay, I'm going to punch my holes. Now you want to put your D-ring on and sit it in between those two rivet holes. And then we're going to line these up and we're going to rivet these on, or we're going to Chicago screw these. I think for me right now, it's actually going to be easier for me to put my strap ends on first. So that's what I'm going to do. And twinkle toes are awake and they're not happy. If for some reason your vinyl is really thick, you can use a pair of leather working pliers just to squish that down and make it easier for you to install your zipper end, strap end, not zipper end, strap end. See, that just went straight on then. There's one side. And you know what, this is why pattern designers have testers. So we can go through before the pattern's released and test to make sure that everything works well. And offer feedback as to what we think should be changed or could be changed, or if it's just perfect the way it is. You're making a lot of noise, you two. If you could be a pattern tester for anyone, who would it be? If you had have asked me before I started testing patterns, there would have been probably one of 3 companies, and Rosa would have been at my top. So when I was chosen to test for her, I thought it was a joke. But I'm so very privileged to be able to do it. I wasn't able to test the last pattern because we were away, but when these ones came out, I was like, yep, sign me up. Like, send them to me now. I was so excited. Alright, I'm finished with that. Now we can install our handle. So I'm just going to match all these up and install my Chicago screws. Okay, there's one side done. Oh, look at that. Now there is a little bit of a gap. Now I'm not happy with a gap, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out and I'm just going to put a piece of foam there, and that'll bulk it up so that it's flush on the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put my piece of foam just over the top, just there. And then screw a screw in, and that should have given it enough bulk. There we go. And then on the outside there's no more gap. So I'm going to do that for the other one. So you need to make sure that your D-ring is in the middle of your 2 rivets or Chicago screws. And then I can cover it with a piece of masking tape. There we go. And we want to do the same for the other end. Okay, oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. That is, oh wow, that is so cute. I love that. Next we want to put our zipper pulls on. So you want your zipper pulls and you want your zipper panels that we did last step. Now we're going to install 2 on each side. I'm going to start with this end. There we go. And I am going to take this completely off. So that's on. And I'm going to pull it completely off. So then it's completed and it's easier for me to put my zipper pulls on the other end. So I'm going to do the same on this end. Oh my goodness, we can already see that this is, oh, this is going to be amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and put my zipper pulls on. There's one. Now when you do it up, you want to make sure that there's no weird bumps in the middle. You're back again. Is it too wet out there for you tonight? Okay, my zipper pulls are now on and looking fantastic. Now we want to get our gusset lining and these go right sides together. Just like so. So you want to clip your main panels out of the way. So you're going to attach one side of your gusset to one side of your zipper panels and then the other one. Now it's okay if they overlap, that is not an issue. Right sides together. Now we're going to baste this together. Okay, so we're basting all this on at 1/8 of an inch. Make sure your zipper pulls are in the middle. Okay, so that is now basted on. So now from the top, this is what we should be looking at. Okay, next you want to get your gusset and you're going to match that up with the short edge that we've been working on. And we're going to clip that together and sew that with the seam allowance given in the pattern. I'm going to do a second row of stitching just next to the first ones. Next we're going to open this and top stitch it. I'm only top stitching through the exterior, not any lining. Then we're going to repeat for the opposite short ends. So linings right sides together, making sure that your main body is out of the seams. And again, it's okay if they overlap. Basting this on with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then we're going to make a big loop with our main exterior, right sides together, and we're going to sew that with the seam allowance given in the pattern. I'm going to do that second row of stitching. We're going to top stitch this. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm only top stitching through the gusset. So then this is the inside of a bag. Now it does say that here we can come in and just trim any bulk out of these corners. Oh, these scissors have had it. We need to close up the main panel linings. Now, what we need to do is we need to clip the double wall zipper panel, the raw edge to the gusset lining raw edge. So I've clipped all that together. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sew this with the seam allowance given in the pattern, and we're going to sew as close as our machine will allow us to get to here. Now there will be a hole at the end. You won't notice it when the bag's finished, but you can use fabric glue if you wish to close that up. So we're going to sew this with the seam allowance given in the pattern, and again we're going to sew as close as we can up here on these sides. I think it's going to be easier to sew it from the gusset side up. Okay, now I am going to put something behind my foot to protect it, because I do not need to tear any holes in anything. Okay, that's as close as I'm going to get. Now make sure that your other edge isn't trying to push down into that new seam that you're creating. So just take a moment to shove it underneath. Show it who's boss. And we're going to try and get as close to this up here as we can. Got pretty close. Now, again, with this tiny little hole here, you could hand stitch it, or you can use glue to secure that, but I might just pop a tiny little bit of glue in there. I think it'll be fine. There we go, just a tiny little drop. I'll put a clip there, a couple of clips there just to hold it into place while it dries. And I'll do the same for this side. Again, it is only a tiny little hole. We can trim that seam allowance that we just made. Now just pay attention, because this seam allowance that we just did, and we're going to do on the other side, is different to the one that we did on the main lining. So then this is what it looks like. Okay, now it says that once that's done, what we can do is we can turn it right sides out and clip all the raw edges. So we're making one big circle. And then we're going to base this at 1/8 of an inch to make one big panel. Okay, so we're going to base that, and I'm going to do it this way so I don't have to change cameras. 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to come in and just trim this down just a little bit, because I've got an overhang on my gusset. So then this is what we have. So this is going to be as if it was just one bag, and then this is going to get finished with binding. So we're going to do the same thing again. Turn it wrong sides out, and we're going to clip the raw edges of our zipper tunnels together. So again, I'm going to start as close to where I need to close this hole up as possible. Just going to come in and just glue just there. And just this side as well. We can trim down the seam allowance. And now we can turn it right sides out and baste these together. So we'll baste that at 1/8 of an inch. The only reason I'm doing it this way is so that I don't have to switch cameras, that's all. Oh no, I didn't. I did. Oh no. I basted this close before I got the clips out that were... Oh my goodness, Vanessa. I can't believe I did that. How embarrassing. Just us caught it now, hey? We can set that to the side. Next you want all your pocket pieces and your name tag if you're installing one. Mine are pretty much the same. I think I want this as my front one. So I'm going to go 2 inches up, 3 inches in. Okay, then I can use the template piece that I got from Brimax for my logo. I'm going to line that up there, mark the placement for my prongs. I'm going to back that with a piece of foam. Put some masking tape over that. And then those prongs are not going to come through on my lining. So there's my nameplate installed. Now, one of your linings, one of your front pocket pieces, right sides together. Right sides together. So we're going to put some snips here into the curve. You do not want to snip the thread. You just want to put some snips. There's no need to do notches. You can use pinking shears if you'd like, but I'm just going to trim around, put snips all the way there. It's just going to help our curve sit flat. Do that on both. And then turn these right sides out, so wrong sides together, and we're going to top stitch. So just roll your seam until you're happy with where it's sitting. If you're using cotton, you can go and press it. And we're going to top stitch. And then while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and baste this whole pocket together. Trim off these, and then that is our front pocket, and that is going to go right there. So we can clip these wrong sides together. Top stitch this side. Line my centers up. Okay, I'm going to baste this on to the front. Oh, that looks so cute. There is meant to be a gape in the front pocket, so don't trim it down because it is actually going to help the bag lay flat once we put our binding on. You want your remaining lining pieces. Okay, we're going to put our lining on, wrong sides together. We're going to clip this and then we're going to baste it at 1/8 of an inch. You could go ahead and add a little pocket if you wanted to. That would be cute, but I'm not going to for this. And you want to do that for both pieces, so right sides are out facing you. Baste that on at 1/8 of an inch. to put that there so I don't tear up my vinyl. Now, if you have any overhang of your lining, you can go ahead and trim it down because you really want these to be even. And I'm going to repeat with this side. If you do a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, don't panic. As long as it's in your seam allowance, it'll be fine. So again, you want to make sure that this is all even. Now we get to put it all together, and we're going to be stapling this. Okay, so this is the front of my bag, and you need to turn it inside out. Now, you are going to be creasing your gusset, or your exterior, but that's fine. We can fix that later on. But you need to be able to get this all in and place these right sides together. So you should be looking at your lining on the whole way round. And we can start clipping it together, and then when we're happy that everything's where it's meant to be, I'm going to come in and start stapling it. If you are on a domestic, I would recommend that you keep your materials light for your pocket and your gusset, because this is going to get quite thick when you add binding onto it as well. If you need to, if it gives you more room, just come in and undo your zipper, if that makes it easier for you to attach it. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some snips, and I'm just going to put some snips in my gusset, 1/8 of an inch, and this is just to help ease our front panel on. Don't do any more than 1/8 of an inch. Snipping that gusset just helps everything sit in perfectly. And it's certainly not going to need as much work as the double zipper panel, as the double wall zipper did. So now that I'm happy with how that is fitting, I'm going to come in and start stapling. I'm going to start down the bottom on a straight edge. Now keep these as close to the edge as you can. You really don't want them in your seam allowance. Just remember that every staple you put in, you have to take out, because you do not want to leave staples in your bag. Okay, that's all stapled. I am just going to add some clips as well, because it's just insurance. I'm going to do this a little bit different to the pattern. In the pattern, what we do is we actually base this at 1/8 of an inch. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do mine at 1/4 of an inch, just because I find that that works easier for me. And it means I'm not going to run over my staples, hopefully. So I'm just holding this flat as I go, making sure that nothing is getting in the way. Okay, now I'm back to the beginning. Now you can turn it inside out to have a look and make sure that everything is where it's meant to be and you haven't caught anything you're not meant to. Watch your staples, you will stab yourself. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, this is adorable. Look at it. Look at this. Look at it. Look at how cute. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is turn it back, wrong sides out. I'm going to remove my staples and then I'm going to add my binding. I have got 26 inches, 27 inches of binding here. And I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm just putting it right sides together and I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is fold over elastic that I get from Temu. And this is my new favourite way to do binding. So all I did was I went around the outside of my bag with my binding and measured how much I thought I would need. And I've just cut that. If it's not right, then I can cut it down. And the good thing about this fold over elastic is it can be sealed. So while it's still right sides together, I'm just going to crease it with my hand. Then I'm going to come in with my chalk and just mark that line there, so I know that's my center. And then I can start putting it on my bag. So I usually start at the bottom. We're nearly finished. We're so nearly finished. Alright, so I'm going to start at the bottom where that seam is. I'm going to butterfly open that seam. And this fold over elastic has a little seam, a little line down the center that you can see. So I try and line that up with the edge of my bag. So I'm going to start clipping this into place, and I am pulling it just slightly as I go around, and I'm going to do a couple of clips and then I'm going to come to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to come to the top and match my center up here with my center top, which is right there. Oh, looks like I may have chosen the right length. You want it to be taut, you don't want it to be loose. Ah, looks like I did good. So I'm just going to go around and clip all this into place. Before you sew it on, you want to flip it to the other side and just see if there's any parts that need to be pulled over a little bit because they're not quite centered, like right here. You want it to be as even as possible. And I think that looks good from both sides. Now we can go ahead and sew this on. Now when I do sew it on, I'm going to sew it at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to do one row at 1/4 and then I'm going to increase it to my full seam allowance. Okay, so let's get this bound. So I'm going to do it at a 1/4 inch and then I'm going to do it at my full seam allowance. I'm just trying to keep everything as flat as I can. I'm going to try and just pull this little bit up so that it's hopefully going to catch on both sides. Okay, now that I've done the 1/4 inch, I'm just going to come in and do my full seam allowance now. Again, the key is to keep everything flat and out of the way. And we're finished. Now, you want to go ahead and check both sides to make sure that everything looks good. Looks great. Okay, and then you can turn it inside out and check and see if you need to do anything with it or if it's right to go. Okay, binding is finished. So, let's see how we went. Goodness, he is so cute. Oh, wow. Oh, this is amazing. Oh my goodness, it is so cute. Oh my goodness, this is adorable. Wow. Look at it. Look at this beautiful bag. Oh, wow. Look at it. I just can't believe the cuteness. I just can't believe how adorable this bag is. It is beautiful. Plenty of room for your phone. Oh my goodness, look at this. She's beautiful. And then you've got your front pockets. Let's put the strap on. Oh, wow. This really is absolutely beautiful. What a pattern. Alexis, wow. I'm in love with this bag. Got the handle here. It's the perfect size, and the strap ends just make it look amazing. And we've got our gusset here. It's 2 bags in one. I love it. It is, oh, I have no words. And then we've got this compartment here. And that binding just looks amazing. I'm so glad that I do the method that I do now. And this side here is all enclosed, doesn't have any binding on that side. The structure that the binding gives definitely is required on the front. But Alexis, wow. And then that's our other side. I mean, you could put a slip pocket on the back wall if you wanted to. All right, thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.
I can't tell what's wrong or right. Should I go without saying goodbye? All I know is I need to be somewhere else to set me free. I don't know what to do now. Need to figure it out, but I don't know how. I hope the wind will carry me and take me away to where I should be.